Another shoot I did was a waterfall shoot, but I had to climb like a million rocks, slippery rocks in a white dress, barefoot. This is going to either end with me like with a broken leg. We're going to get a cool photo. Yeah, and there's also like the backlash that you get. Like sometimes your family doesn't like you doing that. It's like I've had my family say, oh, I don't want to see my cousins, and when I'm at a family party, I don't want to see my cousin's ass on Instagram. See something in their life they're not happy with. They went straight to the easy road, which I'm not promoting drugs, but that's the easy way out.
Influencer Insight shares the battles, stories, success of the models, influencers, and entrepreneurs as they find the balance of being influential leaders today while creating long-lasting impact for the future. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Influencer Insights, where I have Sarah B. from Melbourne, Australia. So honestly, it's Saturday morning there. It's Friday night where I'm from, but it's really good to connect with Sarah online. And you are the first one, I believe, from Australia to be on the podcast. So that's kind of a big win there. Sarah does modeling kind of part-time. She's a full-time scientist, so obviously my level of cognizant ability has just decreased a lot, but we're really glad that she's here to share some of her wisdom and talk about how she got started modeling and how that's kind of been a creative expression for herself. So welcome, Sarah.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to just do a quick introduction of yourself? Anything you want to share right off the hop about who you are, where you're from, things that maybe I didn't mention?
So I'm in Melbourne, Victoria, in Australia. So pretty much my modeling gigs kind of started when I was really like young, like 18, 19. I got asked to do a photo shoot for a calendar.
Nice.
So I did that, but then kind of stopped because I was in a relationship with a guy who didn't like that stuff. Okay. So I kind of like put it to the side and said, we're done with this. But then when that relationship ended, I won a voucher to do a photo shoot.
Oh,
and
wow.
then so that's where it all kind of restarted.
Nice.
So I won from the laser clinic. I think I was like there, I don't know, however many visits you did, they enter you into a contest and then someone wins a free photo shoot, like glamour photo shoot.
Really?
So then I won it, and then I got this free photo shoot. And they did me all up, and then I got all these photos, and I'm like, oh, they look really good. Like, and then I put them, I'm like, maybe I'll try to do something with this.
Yeah.
So I put them on I created a Star Now account. That's where it all kind of happened.
Right on.
And then I put them as it was like a basic portfolio. Like I had about 10 photos. Nice. And then, then people started messaging me saying they needed models, and it was paid work. And then I started getting little jobs from Star Now. And then, from that, I got more photos, and then it all took off. During COVID, it kind of died down, but because we were in strict lockdowns here. We weren't allowed to leave the house unless we were essential, which my job was considered essential because I was doing I was helping with the COVID testing because there was so much demand in the end. And then I had a company, like a talent agency, asked me to be in their company, and then I got some acting jobs.
Nice.
So that was cool. But then COVID hit, and that was my moment.
Shut down again.
Shut down. And just now Instagram's kind of been my main point of advertising.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're in Melbourne, did you have to travel to other parts of the country there to go and do some of these shoots that you were invited to, or was it all for local?
I have been asked for international, not international, interstate kind of work.
Oh, cool.
I'm really busy, so it kind of doesn't fit in. It's kind of not worth my while. They've offered me accommodation, all expenses paid, but it's a bit of a safety concern for me as well. I don't really feel like I'm willing to risk potential headache for just one photo shoot. I am getting invites, but I'm probably not taking them. So
sure. But hey, if you're getting the invitation out there, that means a whole lot that people are interested in you and your look and some of the work that you've done, obviously. So that's a big piece there, right? So
it's nice getting the invite, but whether it's legitimate, proper, isn't when it's an Instagram or Facebook invite, I get a bit sus.
Okay.
You don't want to go catch a flight and rely on someone you've never met to pick you up from the airport and stay in their accommodation that they've arranged.
Right. So what could go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not a fan of that one. So
yeah, no, for sure. No, that's all right.
Mhm.
What's kind of been some of your favorite work, some shoots that you've done that you really enjoyed and that sort of thing?
Well, just recently I did a body tape photo shoot, which I was a bit scared to go because it's pretty much you're nude, but you've got tape covering your bits.
Right.
So I was a bit like, how am I going to look? What are the other girls? Because it was a group photo shoot.
Okay.
Multiple girls were there. And I was like, am I going to be like, am I going to look weird? Like, am I going to fit in with this photo? Like, I didn't know who the other girls were and stuff. These days, so much plastic surgery and modification to people's bodies that's like, I'm not very modified.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, but it was cool. Like, he taped me in a way which made my boobs sit pushed, like it was okay. And I asked for a design that kind of suited my body.
Right.
So yeah, that was really fun though. It was different.
Yeah, no kidding.
Setting, and there was multiple photographers there. It was more of like a collaboration between models and photographers.
Oh, cool.
It was really like a good day.
How long did it take to do the taping piece?
I reckon about half an hour.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I felt like it wasn't. He said it takes half an hour. The guy who's the designer tape, that's his brand. So I guess he's trying to promote his body tape brand.
Okay.
Similar to the one going around in the US, the Black Tape Project. I don't know if you've seen those runway projects.
I've seen some of that. Yeah.
Models with the tape and the design. But it wasn't a runway, but it was more of like a photo shoot.
Collaboration shoot. So good way to connect with people on a different way, right? So.
Yeah, and I did the models that I were there. They were people I've seen on Insta, like other photographers' photos, and it's like nice to meet them in real life. Another shoot I did was a waterfall shoot, which I haven't got the photos yet for that one, but I had to climb up like a million rocks, slippery rocks, in a white dress, barefoot, with my hair and the wind blowing and the fuzz from the waterfall. And I actually thought this is going to either end with me with a broken leg. We're going to get a cool photo.
Yeah.
So in the end, I didn't die.
No broken leg anyway.
No broken leg, but everyone's like, I don't know how you did it because there's people there from the public. It was really annoying because we got there, the waterfall where we wanted to shoot along the rocks. Public was all on a viewing platform.
Okay.
And we're like, great, we've got it to ourselves to go down onto the rocks and set up. Then as soon as they saw us, the way to get down and the path, they all followed. So by the time I set up my change, because I bring a portable change room tent with me.
Oh, good idea.
Like a dome. It's like a dome. By the time I set up and put my white dress on and, got out and they set up their cameras and flashes, well, the public was in our background. So it was a bit annoying because they weren't even moving. They were just sitting there looking at us.
What are you guys doing?
And I'm just like, why? Go out of my photo. Just give me 5 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, but in the end, I was laughing because they were slipping off the rock, falling into the stream. Well, I'm there barefooted in my dress and I hadn't fallen. I think everyone, I was a little bit satisfying. I was high up on the rock. I climbed pretty high because I wanted to be right in front of the waterfall.
Sure.
And if you've ever climbed where a waterfall is, the rocks are so smooth because of the water erosion.
Yeah.
Constantly running over them, and sometimes I have moss because it's dark in that area.
Right.
Anyway, very slippery. And I stood there and I looked up and everyone was watching me. And I'm like, I know you're all waiting for me to fall.
We're all just amazed that you made it up there, I think.
I didn't fall. I was a bit slippery, but I didn't. But in the end, my white dress became brown at the bottom.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
It was a long dress, so
it's dragging a little bit. So
yeah, so those were, I would say, they're my coolest shoots.
Yeah, that does sound pretty awesome. And was that waterfall? Is that local to you there somewhere, or is it?
No, lucky that one was with a friend, one of my scientist friends. He's actually a photographer, and he's trying to build up. I think he started mainly in children. He loves photographing families and children.
Okay.
But I think he never kind of dipped into the girl kind of look. He asked me if I was interested, and I said yeah. And because it was a 2-hour drive, he offered to drive me, and I trust him because I've worked with him for years.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't probably go with a random. I don't want to be
Stranger up the hill. Yeah. Probably better. Yeah.
So I'm glad it was him.
Yeah.
Because we're in here where I am in Melbourne, there's not much nice waterfalls where you're allowed to be in the waterfall area.
Right.
It's just because it's dangerous.
Well,
I don't even know if I was allowed to go in that one. But whatever. No
you
one,
got the
no
shot.
one.
Doesn't matter now, right? So we won't disclose where it was on the podcast, and you'll be okay there anyway.
No
so
one knows my real name. That's not my real name.
it's not me. Promise. So, one of the areas we touch on is a little bit, Sarah, on some people that maybe want to get started into modeling, or they're, early in their career, and they're building that development piece. So do you have any wisdom to share from your good shoots under your belt already? And you've had a lot of people reach out. Was there any way that you kind of built some of the momentum to put your name out there, or what was your process that way?
I would say, like, a lot of my friends, like girls from my dance class and stuff, they asked me, how did you start? And I told them about Star Now. It can work bad it can go both ways. Sure. So like you've got to have common sense about things. So I started off with Star Now. That got me some exposure. People message me, they're interested, or you apply for jobs. Jobs are listed. If you match the criteria, you apply. Then also with Instagram, I luckily got some chances with some photographers who have a big following.
Oh, cool.
And the moment like they asked me, or sometimes photographers, if you follow a photographer, they'll put out, like, I know, like, this, no one wants to give their time for free, but sometimes that's how you start. So there's TFP, called time for print shoots. So some photographers will say free photo shoot time available. But then once you get, like, say you go for that, and then they post you, that's exposure. So then people follow you, other photographers see you, and then you kind of build up from there. Luckily, like, probably 2 years, maybe it's a year and a half, 2 years now, that's where I kind of started getting back in, because I had a message. I don't know if you guys have heard of Andrew Felix. So he's doing a lot of photos, a lot of models, like, and he asked me if I was interested in a shoot, and I said okay. And he's really built himself up. Right. He's doing a lot of. I was doing films, and I don't know. I can't keep up. He's crazy, but like crazy in a good way.
Yes. Yeah.
He's on the roll, So once I kind of was in his photos, I got a lot of followers from his following. And then from there, it kind of just, people like, oh, you worked with Andrew. And then I've done workshops, like modeling workshops, where one guy will organize the studio and me, and his customers will pay, which are pretty much photographers that want to practice, or they don't want to organize their own model in studio. Yep. So I'll be the model, they'll advertise me, and then people will pay that photographer.
Hey models, thanks for tuning in today. Hope that you're enjoying the episode. It's Ben here. I just wanted to invite you to the Influencer and Model Support Group on Facebook, where we've got a great growing community of people looking to help, support, and share tips and tricks on how to grow and become and develop as a model. So go on Facebook, type in the search, Influencer and Model Support Group, and you'll find us. Click join, you'll be added in, and you're going to find a great community of people to support you in your journey. So do that, and then come back and finish the episode.
And come to the session, and then I'll get part of that payment. Oh, so cool. It is, yeah. So I've done a few of those, and I think that's also given me exposure. Sure. Yeah, but I think it's all just getting your face out there with some bigger name photographers, and then other people will see you. But you got to work out whether do the photography style. Some girls probably won't want to do lingerie, but these days, I don't know if this is a topic you want to talk about, but these days, sexy and skin is what's the people want. That no one wants to look at covered people. Right. I'd rather do portraits and covered pictures, me wearing normal clothes and just an outdoor shoot. But no one's really after that. They're after lingerie and implied nude. I don't do nude, but I'll call it limited implied nude. Yep. Where you're covering and you're positioned in a way where you're not really showing that much, but it looks like you're nude. Yes. But this is what people want. Yep. If I look at my stats on all my posts, the ones that are half nude are the ones with the hits, and the portraits don't get much. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible.
What's wrong with people?
Fairly proper lighting techniques, I've learned. In the future, I would like to be a photographer. Yeah. But I want try to be a photographer. So
Sure.
I'm kind of putting my ear into everyone's styles and learning along the way about what's
it's
the
incredible
best.
how much goes it, like, it just, a nice portrait, how much work that takes if you're
There is.
setting it up right.
There is so much technical aspect to the lighting and like different lighting styles, like your I can't remember what it's called. There's one where you got to get the triangle on the cheek and you set up like Rembrandt lighting, I think it's called. And then there's your different styles like Hollywood lighting or something where it's like the look that you're going for. And it actually involves a lot of different lights and angles, and the photographer, like, it is a lot of work. Like some of my photographers, I love the work they've done of me, but that shot took like 20 minutes to set up the right light.
Yeah.
And it's the smallest movement in shifting, like me back or them moving the lighting. So no one really appreciates the art in some portraits, and it's sad.
It is because it's an incredible amount of work. And even as the model, I mean, you got to sit there, don't move, right? Don't move.
And I go a bit stiff. Like if I'm overthinking about it, my face goes a bit unnatural.
Yeah.
So I'm more of that person. I like to move around when I'm modeling and just take me in the moment. I don't kind of go and then like take the shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to move and you take the shot and if you like something, I'll do it again.
Right.
Even like, depending how they want my face. Like some people are like, give me a fierce look or give me a sexy eyes or whatever. And I'm just like, if I overthink it, I'll end up looking retarded. Like, yeah.
Pretty much the same. I get her. Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Starting out, you just have to put your time in. I know you're not going to make the money straight away. That's what people think. They're just going to go in and get big money. But it's so much competition. Like, why you got to kind of be patient with whether you're going to get the jobs. But that's the thing. Like, I don't put all my eggs in that basket. Like, I've got my day job. That's my income comes from. If people want me for modeling, it's some extra side money, Well,
the nice thing about that is you're not, put it this way, you're not starving. So you can be a little bit more, hey, if you want me, there's a fee, right? Versus somebody that's struggling to pay rent in downtown LA. I mean, people take all kinds of jobs that they probably shouldn't just because they need the income, right? So it's good to have that backup plan or what you do every day, right? So
with anything beauty, modeling, like social media related, I would never really rely on it 100% of my, 100% rely. I feel like everyone should always have stable income, like from something that doesn't rely on your look. Because what if one day you could have a week where no one wants you, no one wants your look's overdone. Like I don't look any special. Like there's so many blonde white girls out there. Like what am I so special? Why are they going to pick me? So like it's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes people want you and some people don't. So but there's the thing, if I relied on modeling as my only job, I would probably just be living with my mum.
Right. At the end of the day.
And it depends how much you want to do. Like I'm sure if I said I'll do nude, I'll get a lot more work.
Right.
But I don't really want to do nude because it can get you in other ways in the future. No offense to anyone who wants to do it. Everyone and it can be very nice. There is not lots of fine art nude pictures. I've seen some models look great, but it can be interpreted wrong from an employer or your family.
If you're trying to keep a career or maintain a relationship or a life outside, those things are they're sacrifices you need to make if you're going to do that, right? But
I think if you choose that direction, you're going to go all in. You can't just go, I'll do a little bit and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like you're pretty much going to say, I do all aspects of photography.
Do it or don't do it, right? So good. Well, that's really helpful. I think getting people to think about those things, modeling, being an influencer, being a photographer, there's a lot of aspects and you are in a lot of competition in the world for that. So remembering that.
Big hit, like everyone wants to do it. Yeah. And you can make, like, if you get endorsement contracts with people, you can make money and it's like you're making an income from not much effort.
Yeah.
But it's just whether someone approaches you for that. And I feel like to get a big following on Insta, you have to be posting morning and night. You have to put the effort in to get to that level where people want you to be their ambassador.
Yes.
So it's a lot of effort. But I guess if you've got the time and you really want it, you'll do it.
Yeah, and exactly. Anything in the world takes a lot of work. So if anybody thinks that those influencers that they see with 100,000 followers, 1 million followers on Instagram don't work, I mean, they put in more time than most people would ever dream of doing, right? So
yeah, and there's also like the backlash that you get. Like sometimes your family doesn't like you doing that. It's like I've had my family say, "Oh, I don't want to see my cousins," and when I'm at a family party, I don't want to see my cousin's ass on Instagram. That's what one of my cousins said.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw my cousin's ass or my niece's ass, and I'm just like, why are you guys following me? Unfollow me. I didn't follow you. Like
Yeah.
they followed me on Instagram. I don't even know how they found me.
Right.
But I've also put little like stories out saying, if anyone's offended at this type of photos, unfollow me. I'm not offended if you unfollow me. I'd rather you not be offended at my photos. So I don't know.
If it's any consolation prize, somebody told me a long time ago when I started posting more on social media, I was doing some training, and they said, if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong, because for every one hater, there's probably 5 people that are loving your work too. So keep that in mind too. Don't hold on to them too much. But yeah. That is
you got to be able to take the criticism, that's for sure. Look, I've had people comment on my photos, not my favorite, or like I've read like not directly on my profile, on the photographer's profile.
Okay. And
I'm just like, why does she have to write that? Or someone would be like, someone wrote yuck or something, and I was just like,
what?
And then the photographer go, why is this girl writing that? Does she like not like me? Why does she not like me? Anyway, but like, see, that's the thing. When you look at their profile, it's like, well, they're like some person like this in their photo, and I'm just like, why is she calling me yuck? Go look at yourself. I know that sounds bad, but the people who write the negative comments, when you look at their profile, they're like, they got their own mental problem.
Or they have like one photo posted.
If I don't like something, I will not go and say I don't like that, or go and advertise that this is not a good photo because of this reason. I just feel like that old saying is like, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. But that's the thing, that's all social media now, is just judging. And I had this conversation with my friend last night.
Yeah.
On my post, I'll get like 100 likes, but about 1,000 people have viewed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so only 10% like me. And I don't know if you've seen that meme that goes around. It's like, everybody's watching, but not everybody likes you. I guess you have to be able to not get offended at that.
What does Sarah do when you read these negative comments? And like, I've had them too, where you're like, somebody said you're ugly, or that you're stupid, or that was dumb, or whatever. And it's kind of like you throw Instagram, the phone down, you're like, I don't know what to take with this, right? But how do you combat some of those negative feelings and stuff that come up inside? What do you do? Where's the place you go?
I just say, well, this is what I've always said. When nobody wants me, then that's it. If nobody messages me for a photo, nobody wants to come to my workshops, whatever, then I've got my other job. So like, I don't say, oh, I'm going to go get plastic surgery and change because of like those people's comments. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, when you look at their photo, it's like they look like some depressed person that doesn't get out of their house. But anyway, I think about it. It's like I do look at their comment, like that lady just said, not my favorite.
Yeah.
And I look at the photo and I'm just like, why isn't it her favorite? Maybe it's because it was lingerie. Maybe she didn't like my face. Like, but I'm like, that's her opinion. Because with that one bad comment, you've also got all these people supporting you.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, like, not my favorite. Oh, well, like, maybe she's not my favorite either.
Right. Well, and there might be a possibility in those cases that, maybe they're a photographer and they didn't like the graininess of the picture, or the lighting didn't hit right. It may not be the model even in that case, right? It might literally be just something in the photo that they just didn't like the editing, right?
I've had people message me and go, there's a shadow under your chin, like, but that's the thing, the spotlight was on me, and the method of that, like, not the method, but the technique, it was the gobo lighting, like, which is the spotlight.
Right.
And you can't change the lighting under my chin because it's a spotlight.
Yeah.
And that's part of the photo. Like, I'm not upset at that part. So Like there's little things that I think people will want to always nitpick on you. No matter what you do, there's always something.
Right.
You're never going to be everyone's like cup of tea. And that's normal. It's anything. With a job, with like partners and friends. Like, no, not everyone will like you. And I think that's what schools are not teaching kids.
Tell me more about that.
They're not teaching kids. They're not teaching resilience. But yeah, I think this new generation's coming, the younger kids, because there's so much fair, like what's it called? Because of we don't want to be discriminating or like you have to include everybody.
Inclusiveness, yeah.
I can be a bit controversial on my opinion. I don't think everyone deserves a participation prize. There is a winner and there is a loser.
Right.
And that's how the world should go. I don't know why they're changing things, trying to make it so like, because that's the thing, if kids don't learn at a young age to lose and to be rejected for like, you know, not being the best person, they're not going to learn how to get better. Like say they want to be the winner. And if everyone gets a trophy, then that winner is not really winning because everyone's getting a trophy with them. I know it's not the same trophy, but it's still to kids, like they all look like they're winning.
Yeah.
So no one's ever going to want to try harder because they're all just getting rewarded for nothing.
Right.
It's something that I think is lacking in people now, is to be able to lose and to be able to accept criticism and like rejection. And because they haven't learned that at a young age, when it comes to them as an adult, it hits them harder because they don't know, they haven't got the feel, they haven't felt that feeling. And that is where the problem lies, I think, with a lot of mental health issues.
Yes. So even if you look at being a model or somebody of a person of influence, whether you're an influencer or not, like, I mean, there's a lot of tough days out there. And unfortunately, like the world doesn't really care, you know, what you think or what you feel when it's coming, you know, when they want to put something against you, right? They just hit you, right? So,
well, you've got a lot of these like big names coming on like Insta saying this is reality and this is Photoshop, but really people don't want to see reality.
That's not why they're on Instagram.
Like everyone, like most girls will have cellulite, but the lighting will like kind of wash it out. Like cellulite is because you got dimples in your skin and the light from above makes it look worse. Yeah.
Right.
But when you got model lighting and it's coming from front on, then you've got proper like editing. It looks like no one's got cellulite. That's the thing. That's what the world is advertised. So when these girls on Instagram are looking at models, they're like, oh, I don't look like that. But you can look like that if you had all the makeup, lighting and tan and all the editing that those photographers do.
Yeah. I
think they forget there's so much. So, and even filters are getting crazy.
Oh,
I feel like everyone's got a filter on their face these days. So, look, if I put that on my face, I look like Michael Jackson. My nose goes like tiny, and then it makes like me look. I've used them to smooth my like skin if I'm looking a bit blotchy, but so many people are posting photos with filters, and I think once they they look at themselves always with a filter, and then when they look at a real photo with no filter, they're always like, oh, it's horrible.
I won't see that
because they're so used to seeing themselves edited. Look, even sometimes I do that. Like when I've been looking at all my photography photos and I'm all edited and like, you know, just done up, and then I look at a normal photo of me, I'm just like, ugh. But then you forget that normal photo came from an iPhone. You're not posing. You're just standing there with your friends. You're not professional lighting. Yeah. So like.
Something I found really interesting to add what you're saying. When I got into modeling a little bit and I started going to shoots and doing some collaborations, you know, group things, like, and no offense to anybody I worked with, but like, I'm the same way. I mean, we're all just people at the end of the day. We're, you know, some people got some nicer features and some characteristics and stuff like that, but model people are just people like anybody else, right? They're done up exactly like you're saying. So,
yeah. So like, yeah, but back to the point where like people don't know how to take rejection.
Yeah.
I feel like because we're all different and like no one will be everyone's style. There's always going to be someone will like you more than or not like you. So I feel like sometimes I've got like photographers that I don't think would ever message me because I look at their profile and I've seen they have like a particular taste for very thin, like kind of anorexic looking people. And I'm never going to do that. because I'm muscly and athletic and my body type just builds muscle.
Right.
I'm never going to be a skinny, and I love eating.
Right.
I'll never be their pig. Like, yeah, don't tell anyone. I love my pizza and carbs.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's okay too.
But yeah, people need to learn how to accept rejection. That's for sure. They just don't, they're not teaching it at school. They're not, the kind of way the world's going is it's being, I'm not saying don't include people, but it's being too inclusive. There's no, I call it drink a cup of concrete and harden the fuck up.
I love your analogy. That's the best.
Yeah. Like, I'm very like, don't sugarcoat nothing, because what's the point? I don't like when someone, like, if you need sugarcoating, you haven't learned to be resilient. Like, you haven't. Yeah.
So this is a little bit interesting because we do, again, touch on the mental health piece. And I brought that up when we talked about joining. But now that I know you're a medical scientist, I'm sure you've got some different insights as well. Like the mental health piece, something I think all of us have a certain level of mental health and trying to stay up on it and that sort of thing. But some of that diverges a little bit from things like mental illness too, right? There's two kind of separations there. But what are kind of some of your views and the things that you've seen over here?
There are people who are clinically depressed, like they have an imbalance in their brain of dopamine and serotonin, or all the chemicals that create your mood, or maybe they can have like a tumor causing too much or too less. Like there's like a clinical reason for their depression or whatever, even like with bipolar, all those conditions. And then there's also drugs affect people's behavior, because when you take drugs, you're changing your brain chemistry.
Right.
So like you might get that high, but you're going to get that low, and that low is going to last longer than that high. And then that's why people are addicted. They keep wanting the high. They want to feel like that. So why they began like that in the first place, obviously there's something in their life they're not happy with, but they didn't find another way to deal with it. They went straight to the easy road, which I'm not promoting drugs, but that's the easy way out to solve your problem.
Yeah.
So there is like clinical reasons for people's. I'm finding like everyone's got depression now. Like why is everyone depressed? Everyone's depressed and anxious. Like why can't you deal with your life? What, like, I know life's become hard. I think life has become harder for people. We've got so much pressure on money's changed, like the economy and like inflation, and things are more expensive now. There's pressure on you, buy a house, get married, travel, want to do all this stuff. But then the actual effort to get a good job that earns that amount of money to do it is so hard to get. So people are in like this pressure situation where they want everything, but then the money to get it is not coming that fast. So I guess they just get depressed because they're looking at everyone else comparing. And that's the problem. Everyone's comparing and everyone's impatient. They want it now. They don't want to put the effort. No one wants to put effort into anything anymore. But then you do have people with clinical conditions that there is a reason for why they are the way they are. Those are real depressed people.
Right.
The people who are saying they're depressed now and GPs are medicating, I am against medicating someone straight away. I feel like you should try all the other alternative things, like go to a psychologist, talk about your problem, go do some exercise, get healthy, I don't know, have a good sleep pattern, stop drinking alcohol, taking drugs, all those depressants. Like alcohol is a depressant. Like there's a lot of depressing, like weed's a depressant. What else? So all those things, like even sitting at home in the dark, that's depressing you. You need to go out and get some light. So before you go and take the easy antidepressant that is just going to change your brain chemistry and make you feel good while you're taking it, like try all the other things, because that might be your issue. Most people are not going to have abnormal brain chemistry just like that. Like we shouldn't have this many abnormal people like being depressed. And same with anxiety. That's a coping mechanism. You're just not used to dealing with pressure situations. Like I don't know. I don't think I might have these feelings, but I don't think I acknowledge them because I just get on with it.
Yeah.
Like I've always been like that because maybe my childhood, my mum, like I wasn't really like loving family. Like I'm very military style, the way I was brought up. So I've always had to do everything on my own, and I learned that very young. And I think that's why I don't have much issues. Like if someone doesn't want me, oh well. If I don't get the job, next job. If I'm having a bad day, oh, it's just today, tomorrow will be better. If I'm feeling no energy, oh, I'll go to the gym, it'll make me feel better.
Right.
Or I'll have a good sleep and start again tomorrow.
Yep.
So, like, I feel like there's so much other ways to deal with people's depressed anxiety states but they all go into medication. And no one realizes that the pharmaceutical companies are making money from this. That's what they want. They want you to take that. The GPs are getting, I don't know if they get a commission, but pretty much when they prescribe something and that gets cashed in at the pharmacy, I think there is some kind of stats behind all that.
Kickback, yeah.
And then GPs are scared these days to not diagnose someone or not like prescribe because they don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
So if someone asks them, I want antidepressants, most of the time they'll give them.
Right.
The good ones will send you to a psychologist first.
Right.
The lazy
Which should be the process, right?
The lazy ones will probably just start you off on a low dose. But no one realizes, like, it is stuffing up your brain's chemicals. Like, it is inhibiting serotonin uptake, depending which antidepressant you're taking. It's sad because I am seeing so much. I do have to look at people's clinical notes for my diet. Like when I write reports and comments results, I correlate everything together, making sure it's in line. And like, it's sad. There is so much mental health issues these days. So many people are in ED, suicide attempts, so many people anxiety, so many people hearing voices that tell them to kill their mother. Like, that is not normal.
Something's out of whack.
Aliens are talking to them. Like, these are the things. This is happening.
Yes.
People are saying this stuff.
Scary stuff, yeah. It's like a bad movie.
I'm not judging them, but I'm just like, how? How is this happening? Like,
so much.
I guess they're in the right place. If they're hearing voices that aliens have told them to kill their mother, good that you're in ED. Give yourself to someone to contain. I don't want you like doing weird shit. Like, you know, you're hearing these days so many crazy stuff's happening.
I know.
But in the olden days, if we go back and look at the times, these people would be in a loony bin. They would be in an asylum and they would be locked up. No one would help them.
That's
but
right.
At least away from society and looked at, kind of tried to be helped. But these days, we don't want to discriminate mental illness. So people are within the society, even though they may have bipolar or schizophrenia, and it's up to them to take their medication to control their mental health. But what if they don't take it?
Right.
They can be dangerous. Like, it can be a dangerous thing because, like, when you got psychosis, even psychosis, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what psychosis is. Like, you do not know reality from like fantasy. And that's really sad because you might be thinking you're in a dream and go and kill someone or do something bad, and then you've done it and then you can't take it back.
No, that's right.
It's really like, I don't know what's going on with people, but
things are definitely out of whack. Just to go back to kind of one of the things you said, like you talked about the kind of the more stringent regulation in your life and stuff growing up. Do you think that kind of having that structure is a big part of staying mentally prepared or ahead of the game?
In my case, it worked out well because I feel very like not much can really get me. I've had that. Well, all my friends turned on me. No, we don't want to be your friend, like ostracize me because of my opinions on some things that have happened. And I've just been like, I'll just get new friends. Like, well, I don't care. That's another thing. You need to be okay on your own. If you can enjoy your own company and be okay with just being alone and not feel like I need someone else and I need friends or I need a boyfriend. If you're not happy within yourself alone, then you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm happy. I kind of grew up on my own. I do have a sister, but she's 5 years younger. And like, so we kind of weren't at that age where we play together. So in her case, she hasn't went that well with her mental health because she's a bit different to me. And she thinks it's because my parents were together most of my childhood. They got divorced when I was 11. Oh. So I got that main part of my life with my dad in my life, whereas she was 5.
Right.
5 or 6 when they divorced. So she missed out on having my dad kind of there. And my dad's very strict. Like, he's very, because my background's Italian, they're very, like, my dad's very strict. But anyway, so in my case, it worked well for me. I've done my master's of lab medicine. I've achieved like a lot of things. So I got my undergrad and my postgrad degree, and I've got a house, and like I think my sister would think, oh, well, Sarah's done all this stuff and I haven't done much. But her motivation's different to mine.
Right.
She's scared, like, but she's that generation that I'm talking about with no coping skills.
Right.
Like that age. And I don't know. I've told her, but she cops out on that. I've got depression, I've got anxiety. And my mum supports it. My mum's like, you can't talk to these people like that. You have to be more sensitive. I'm like, and then I'm there in the corner going, but she's wasting her life.
Right.
And then I'll just walk out, be like, I've told you, and you don't listen to me. But see, that's the thing. My upbringing, I don't know if it's just me, like my own self, but we were kind of in the same family, but she's totally different to me.
Right.
So no one would ever think that we don't even look the same. So like no one would relate us ever. But yeah, I don't know. I think in a way, my parents kind of I don't think I was spoiled at all. I don't even like, this is one thing I feel sad about. My parents, I don't feel acknowledged. So when I finished my degree and I invited my first degree, I asked my parents, do you want to come to my graduation? The one where you have the hat and the gown on?
Yep.
And I wanted to go because that's like something you only get a few times, once or twice in your life, depending how many degrees you want to do.
Right.
I got 2 free tickets included with the graduation ceremony fee. So I asked my parents, and my mum said, what for? I said, do you want to come and graduate? She said, what for? So I was like, okay.
Guess not.
Then I asked my dad, and he said yes. And then later he said, I think it's better your mother goes. So then he rejected me as well. So I had 2 parents who don't really care about my accomplishments. So it is pretty sad but then at the same time, I don't do it for them. I'm doing it for me. Like I'm doing it to get a better job. I'm doing it to show, because this is another motivation of mine. In year 11, my teacher said to me, Sarah, I don't think you should do biology in uni. Your grades are not showing that you're good enough.
Right.
But maybe in high school, I loved biology. But that part of biology, I didn't do that well, like assessment-wise.
Right.
I went to uni and I passed, and I'm getting distinctions. Like, it's
problem.
not about, but she told me not to do it. So if you listen to everyone, it's not like everyone's opinion of you is not going to be the real way it's going to work out. If you really want something, anyone can be a doctor, anyone can be a pilot, like whatever they want to do. If you want to do it and you really want it and you put the effort in, then you can do it. I don't believe in these naysayers. Shut up.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. That's how I am.
What happened in younger Sarah's life to make that deviation? Because some people would take the biology thing and they forever would never touch biology again when they've been crushed like that. Or, even your parents maybe undervaluing some of your achievements. What was something that, was there a couple of, or 1 or 2 big defining moments in your life and you're like, I am just going to go show the world, or I'm going to go do this for Sarah, or whatever it is? Like, were there some moments like that?
I think I'm about proving people wrong. I think that's what I am, because that was my Bachelor of Biological Science. So that was, I pretty much said in your face, Miss Hazumashu, you told me I couldn't do it, and I did it. And then I kind of didn't even know what I wanted to be at that age anyway. So I just went doing that. I started in forensic science, but then they told me there's no jobs, because I like all that mystery. Cool. Like, why did someone die? I want to know. Like, I like the puzzle side of things. Anyway, they said there's no jobs. You have to be a police officer to be in it. And I was young then, so I was like, police ain't in. So you can't be a police here in Australia. You need life experience. They won't take young people. So anyway, that was a write-off. So I transferred to biological science and said, let's see where this would take me. But anyway, in the end, that's what took me to pathology and like doing my lab tests. I still finished the degree. And like when she said that I wouldn't be able to do it, it's like I still did it. And I was really half-assing that degree. I was buying my house and doing other things. So it wasn't even like I put all my effort in and I still got it. Wow. Whereas my master's, this was more of a motivation, was in my job. This really offends me. I know I'm talking about people getting offended, but it does.
Good.
A lot of people said to me, why are you here? You're too pretty to work here.
What?
Why are you working in a lab? They're like, there's beauty. Oh no, there's brains with the beauty. Like little smug comments like that. It's like, why is my look discriminating my job? Like, anyone can work here. Don't have to be ugly to work here. You can work here. Like, as long as you've got the qualification, you know what you're doing. And then there was this one comment that came from one of the doctors in my lab. They said, Sarah's not a real scientist. And I was like, because I don't have the accredited preferred degree for lab science. So I was like, why am I not a real scientist? I'm doing exactly the same as everyone else. I'm doing it better than everyone else. Like, I get like the work done. I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
Why am I not real? Just because I just don't think she just didn't like me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then also my manager was a little bit of a dickhead. So I don't even want to swear. But anyway, he pretty much said in my appraisal, Sarah has done remarkably well considering she doesn't have the appropriate degree. And I'm like, how can you write that? You're pretty much writing I'm not qualified for my job, but it's a double end. What's it called? A double. It's when you say a compliment, but you give it an insult.
Yes.
A double-handed compliment or something. Anyway,
then
he recommended I do my master's of lab medicine, which is an accredited degree. So I said, fine. So I worked full-time while doing my master's. Wow. Pretty much had no life. All my friends kind of gave up on me because I was never free. I was always exhausted. And like I finally 3 years later, I've now got to the end and I've finished. But I have got like my GPA is over 3 in a 4 scale. So pretty much I'm on an average of 85%, which I think is good considering I've been working and doing everything else I do.
Mine wouldn't be that high. So anyway.
I finished and I'm like, now I'm a real scientist. But lucky the job I'm in, like I left that place because they were just so toxic and like there was always something against me. I actually think it was because I'm me, just because I'm like a younger, blonde, white lady.
Sarah's too pretty. Yeah.
No, it's like that everyone kind of had something against me. They also say, you're so lucky. You've got a house. You work here. You're pretty. And it's like, do you think this just come to me on a platter?
Yeah.
I didn't get it given to me on a platter at all. I've worked, like I've missed out on traveling because I'm working 2 free jobs to get a house. I like do my hair, I put some makeup, I go to the gym, I make an effort, pluck my eyebrows. Like those people are not making an effort. They can be pretty and skinny and everything too, but they just they're not trying. And that's the issue. It's like people think it's just like one person said, you're lucky. Like it's not luck. You make your own. I think you make your own luck. Like, anyway. Good. So in the end, I left and I found a workplace now that doesn't care what I look like. They don't have an issue with my degree because they hired me before I finished this one.
Sure.
So they're a much nicer, accepting workplace.
So if, take 2, 3, 4 years ago, someplace you're in the middle of the chaos and friends have left and you're busy working, getting the degree, studying. What would have been something that Sarah would have really appreciated to hear at that time, knowing where you're at now, getting through it?
I don't know. I would have liked to know. Actually, I don't know. Because there were so many times I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, is this even going to be worth it? I actually kind of took a semester off halfway because I was tired. I don't know, but I've always got that thing. I don't like to leave things unfinished.
Sure.
I can't. I have a problem where I need to finish something. These are problems, but they're good problems. Like I'm like everyone will say you're the most stubborn person I've ever met. Like, because if I want something, like I will like go till I'm blue in the face to get it. Like I'll keep trying. And actually that's bad. You don't want to tell someone, I want what I want and I'm going to get it, because that gives you a big ego. No one wants to hear it like that.
That's
but
right.
If you really want something, like you're persistent.
Right.
So that's the thing. I need to finish. I don't want to leave things unfinished. And in my mind, I'm like, I've spent money on this uni. I'm halfway. Why not just finish it? Then I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'll have my accredited degree. Like now I'll get an extra allowance for higher education, like more money.
Right.
So it can potentially lead me to higher roles. So I thought, just finish it. It's just a little bit longer. You've already halfway, just keep going. That's my mindset. But yeah, because I have to finish stuff. The only ever thing that I've left unfinished was because I really hated it, was teaching. I tried to be a teacher.
Oh.
So at one point I was trying to do a career change, and I could have, like, because I had my undergrad, I could do a postgrad 1 year in being teaching. And I did my placement. I hated the curriculum. I hate the way the schooling system's structured. I hate everything. Like, it wasn't how I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And
she said no.
I did pretty much the first 3/4 of that course. And then once I did my placement, I just said to the course advice person, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. And everyone just said, just finish it. Just register as a teacher, have the qualification. I go, why? I would never use it. Why would I do that? Why? I hate this. I don't hate the kids. I just hate the way, like, they want us to teach. It's just changed so much.
Sarah's just like, not so much in the box, but they're trying to squish you in the box, right? So it doesn't fit very good.
This is the thing. Now we have to accommodate for everyone's. You can't hold kids back like a year level. They keep progressing, even though some are down here and some are here.
Yeah.
You have to modify your learning strategy to each different kid. Right. So now we have to accommodate for each different learning style. But, like, I don't think the level thing should be. I feel like if someone's at this level, they have to stay here until they move up. They shouldn't be moved up through the levels, because now when they get up here, they're still down here. And it's not nice. This is where the mental health issue is happening, because then that kid's going to feel, I'm stupid. I'm in the dumb group. Like, and why? Because we've progressed them. They should be kept back like the olden days until they're ready for the next level, or in some special, like, class. I'm just like, kids are not stupid. They know they're in the dumb group, or like, it's not going to be good for them to feel like that. Like, I don't know. Right. It's not right. Apparently the reason is, I just think I did ask, it's because socially they're moving up socially. So to hold them down, they would be socially, like, not feeling right, because they're going to be with younger people.
Right.
How does it feel mentally when you're stupid and you can't contribute and you need extra help and no one's helping you? It's just, I don't know. I don't have the solution for it, because they're right. Like, if you're, say you were in, like, year 5 and you're 10 years old, 12, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And then you kept getting kept back because you're not ready for year 6 yet. And then you're like 15 now, and then everyone else is 11 or 10. You're going to feel like the old one. So they're right with the social thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you shouldn't be able to move up if you're not ready for it. Exactly. But that's what the teacher has to now change or modify their lesson. I need to get easier worksheets for that one. I need to make harder worksheets for this one. I need to change my style for this one. This one's got autism. This one's got dyslexia. Like, it's not easy. Yeah. I take my hat off to the teachers.
I always say, I talked to a principal of 30 years recently, and I said, man, that's a long time putting up with other people's kids. So, thank you. That's a great service to do. So
yeah. But, yeah, it's just wasn't for me. So
no, that's okay, and that's part of the journey too, right? So, What about for Sarah in the next 3, 4, 5 years? What are some of your ambitions? Where do you want to go? You've accomplished a lot. I mean, the resume is long, but what's the next big thing?
Well, the modeling, back to the modeling thing, that's more, sure. I was hoping to get more acting work. I do prefer that. It's a bit more fun. Like, I've done 2 things now. I've done one on Channel 10, which was like an Australian series, like a crime scene.
Cool.
I was the forensic scientist.
Very cool. So back to your roots.
Yeah, that's why they picked me, because I put that in my bio.
Nice.
And that was fun. It was a good day. You get a lot more money for acting than you do for modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like the production company pays for it instead of just one photographer.
Right.
And then I did another student film festival. I was so the guy was divorced. He got rid of his wife, and I was the younger other lady. So I had to be like this old man going, ha, ha, ha. Well, like, the other lady watched us with a gun.
Oh,
so that
fun.
was a tense moment. That was pretty cool because it was set in the 90s. So I got to wear like old school. So I would like to do more acting stuff.
Sure.
But it's very hard. Everything wants to audition. Like, you need to do audition videos or line up for auditions. I don't know. I don't have time.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll see. I'll see what's around, but I've got a lot of things happening right now. I've got to go away for work and stuff, so
Cool.
I might wait till next year and everything settles down.
Mm-hmm.
And just with modeling, I want to just try different styles. Like I'd like a different style photo. I have said I'm kind of getting sick of lingerie. I want to do like more themey stuff, like different.
That'd be fun.
Different stuff. Yeah, so because I'm still starting out, like, I guess I'll just stick with what I'm doing, try and get a bit more of a name happening. Sure. Plus, also there's a lot of competition. Like I'm not putting my eggs in that basket saying, oh, this is going to happen. I'll just see if it happens. So that's it. Probably just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm still on Star now. I still apply for things.
Sure.
Like commercials are the big winner. Once you're on a commercial, pays like $2,000, and so I've only ever had like one offer two offers for a commercial, which I rejected. The first one was a mole scan. I didn't want to be the mole lady.
Because you will forever be.
No, so I just said no, I don't want to do that one. Sure. And then the other one was a Miss Universe pageant thing. It was like advertising, but then I just finished a night shift. They messaged me at the last minute, and then I said, yeah, I'll come, even though I had no sleep. I jumped in the shower, quickly getting ready, and then they said, oh, no, sorry, the person wanted a brunette. So I was like, so I didn't go to that one. And that was it. So the commercial advertisement stuff's a bit hard because you need to usually be part of an agency, right, which I don't feel like I have enough time to be part of an agency because they want commission and like yearly fees and all that. So I think I'd rather self-manage myself. It's just easier.
Yeah, at least you can work it into your schedule that way. So yeah. Sounds like you're off to a great start. And if you go check out Sarah's Instagram page, I think you'll see that she's got a lot of skills. There's pretty natural talent there. So quite likely you're going to see her continue to grow and get more experience in modeling and maybe into acting and that sort of thing. But how do we get a hold of Sarah if somebody was going to try and find you or check out your page and that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah. So just Insta, Facebook. So my Insta's I am Sarah B, but Sarah with 3 H's because there's too many Sarahs in the world. So
there's only a couple of them. Yeah.
I didn't really know what to call myself, so I just did that one. And it's kind of now, you can't change your name or else then you're untagged from all the photos that you're in.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it. And then my Facebook's just Sarah B Portfolio. I don't know if it'll come up easy in a search, but I just made the Facebook because so many photographers that are older don't have Insta.
Right.
And I thought, oh, well, I'll make this page for those people and maybe a different audience on Facebook. Sure. So, yeah, that's my best contacts ways. I do check my, the spam folders just in case, because usually that's where people go when they're asking for a photo shoot because they don't go in my main folder. But I'll check that once a week, so I might be a bit slow, but...
Sarah's around somewhere, so you also a busy scientist as well, so that's kind of hard to get everything done, but
it's just good. For me it's my availability, like because I do have a normal job.
Yes,
I kind of have to work on, so I like to plan ahead of time, so hopefully people are like to in advance, not on the next day.
Absolutely.
Cool. That's it.
Cool. What about if Instagram blows up and you end up with 1 million followers overnight, do you have one kind of final thought for people listening? What would you like to say to all those people?
I just think anyone can do anything they put their mind to it. I think that's a common saying, but I think people forget that. There's too many people that give up too easy, and I don't know why. And they listen to people. Don't listen to anyone. That's my best advice to people. Just don't listen. Do what you want, what makes you happy. At the end of the day, if you listen to everyone, you're not going to be happy because you're just pleasing everyone around you and not yourself. So yeah, that's it. It's probably common advice, but I joined that group.
Hey, if it's working, there's obviously something to it, right? So
yeah.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on today, Sarah, and we're looking forward to again following you and seeing what you create next and where you go down the road. So appreciate your time.
Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Hey there. Really appreciate you joining the Influencer Insights podcast today. If you've enjoyed this episode, I just would ask that you share it with a friend and give the video a like or the podcast a rating, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite other player anywhere else. That really helps us share the message and grow this community as well. So thanks for that. Take care. Have a great day.